Hey YouTube, this is Pug Weasel, and I'm doing a video on some shotgun shells that I just bought called Royal Buck, is the brand name of course. And what I bought was number 4 Buckshot, and I bought double-aught Buckshot. I bought them from Cabela's because they had a really good price on them, and so I wanted to try them out. Once I got them home, I actually looked on line and found that there were people who had some complaints about them. Not about them misfiring or failing to fire, or primers not working, but about them being too long. So I pulled out all the different kinds of shotgun shells that I have and decided to measure and find out, one, whether it was true, and two, what kind of problems that might cause. So one of the things I can tell you is that they're visibly different sizes themselves. Lined up, the double-aught Buck is just a tad bit taller than the number 4 Buck, which I found was interesting right off the bat. But I lined it up, I got out my tape measure, and I decided to measure the shotgun shells that I have. And I have, just so you know, I have Remington Express Magnum double-aught Buck, and it came in at 2 1/4 inch, not 2 3/4 like they say, 2 1/4 plus 1/16 of an inch. So the next tallest one outside of the Royal Buck is the Remington HD Ultimate Home Defense, which are tungsten BBs that are copper plated, and they have like the Magnum shell load, the brass load, and it came in at the same height. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So those two from Remington, when they have these bigger brass area down at the bottom, they come in higher. So the Remington game load at the 7.5 inch birdshot and the Federal game load at 7.5 inch birdshot both came in at 2 1/4, and where's Federal? Federal came in at 2 1/4. They're the exact same height. Okay. Interesting enough, I just bought this Herders. I have not shot Herders yet. I haven't heard anything about it. As a matter of fact, it's called Herders. I believe it's called Field Select is what it's called, and it comes in, interestingly enough, at 2 1/8. It is a shorter shell than the average game load or target load. So here's the interesting part: the Royal Buck number 4 Buckshot comes in at 2 1/4 plus 2/16 of an inch higher on top of that. So 2 1/4 plus 2/16 of an inch is what this is. Longer, so definitely longer than Herders, and longer than the average game load, and so just a little bit longer than even these Remington with the Magnum style bottoms. And these obviously have the Buckshot, higher amount of gunpowder pressure, and the Buckshot literally is just 1/16 of an inch shorter than 2.5 inches tall. So if you look at it, you measure it, it looks like it's 2.5 inches tall. It's actually 1/16 of an inch shorter than 2.5 inches tall, which is considerably longer than the average 2 3/4 load. Now, I don't care how long these things are as long as they work, you know what I mean? But it seems like the basic average industry standard is 2 1/4 for what they call a 2 3/4 inch load. And so how does that affect you? Basically, if you're using Royal Buck and you have a side-by-side or a over and under it doesn't matter at all, you know, because as long as it's under 3 inches, as long as you're chambered for 3 inches, then you don't have to worry about it because it's under 3 inches. If you have a pump action, you probably, from what I'm reading, you probably won't have a problem. You just won't be able to load as many shot shells in your weapon for this, because a lot of the pump actions, again, are chambered for 2 3/4 or 3-inch shells. And then, of course, if you have the turkey and it's made for less than the 3.5 inch or whatever, I guess you'll be all right with those too. But if you shoot semi-automatic shotgun, apparently a lot of people who own semi-automatic shotguns are having issues with these loads because they are not the right size. So I can't tell you for sure. I don't have one of those, and but I would, if I were you, I'd probably stay away from these if you have a semi-automatic shotgun. If you have a pump action or a side-by-side or over and under or single shot, I don't think you'll have a problem with them. I have not fired them myself. I bought them the other day. I'm snowed in here right now. It's been snowing all day and it stopped, but basically everybody was sent home, not sent home from work, didn't even have to go to work from except for essential employees here in the Midwest. And but I can't wait to get the chance to shoot them and see what they're like, especially considering they're a really good price. But that's just some information you might want to check into yourself, read up on before you buy Royal Buck, because depending on what your use is, you may or may not want them. This is Pug Weasel.